Hey, welcome to Hear This. Today we have special guest Lexi Perez.
Hey.
And I'm Adam Pretorius. And on the far end here, we have Emily Farber.
Hello, hello.
So today we have a very fun podcast. Today we're going to talk about niche markets and dominating your niche market. And no one better to do this than with the Belland team. So Lexi, thank you for coming today.
Hey, thanks for the introduction. I appreciate that.
I feel like we have a famous person with us.
No, you don't. You definitely don't.
We do. You are Williamsburg famous.
Yeah, you are Williamsburg.
There you go.
I think niche markets are really important, though. I think a lot of agents try to be too broad and they don't narrow it down. And I think that's why we're so excited to have you on today to talk about how you own your niche market, how important that is, but then how it doesn't have to stay just within your niche market. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So when I first started in real estate, my mom was saying, like, we need to expand, like we're going to have 2 of us. And then it was 3 of us. And then it was 4 of us. So it was like, Williamsburg is a dominant market. Like we're very proud to be from Williamsburg. It is our home. So it's an easy home to sell someone else.
Right.
Like, we know Williamsburg like the back of our hand. Like I could tell you pretty much every street. And obviously, like, it's such a small town that, like you do know everyone. When I come to Iowa City or Corville, or like I can go under the radar everywhere. Whereas like, in Williamsburg, like I can't go to the grocery store, not put together. So
no pajamas.
Yes, no pajamas like your last spot. Yes.
Emily's
so yes, Williamsburg is our primary, but like we do expand beyond that. But I will say, like, even when we have like Iowa City listings or Cedar Rapids or buyers, like it seems that I always have a Williamsburg connection or someone from Williamsburg told them about me, or, it does tend to, even if they're not like buying in Williamsburg, I get a lot of outside of like Iowa County that generated from my connection from Williamsburg.
Yeah, because Williamsburg is your capture. And just so the audience knows, so it's you, your 2 sisters, and your mom as a team, right?
Yes, but my mom just retired. So yes.
Well, congratulations for her.
Yeah.
But so it's a very tight-knit family, personal feeling for you in this town.
Yes, very, very much so. And if if you've heard about Williamsburg or Williamsburg, it's just like a different community. Like if I'm going to like buy anything, like my first go-to is like, is somebody in Williamsburg have it? Or like, can I buy it from them? Or it's very just like a tight-knit community. I can't really like put my finger on describing it, but
well, it's a small town.
Yes, if you've been there, you kind of know. But we also, like, people that move there, we do welcome them in as well. But there are a lot of people that are originally from there. Like, I will live there forever type of thing. I won't ever leave.
So the saying is the riches are in the niches, right? And when people start in real estate, the general advice that they're given is you need to differentiate yourself. You need to find what you're really good at and stand out. And most brand new agents are like, I can help anybody buy or sell a house anywhere, anytime.
Yes.
That is not effective, even though that's our initial response is we want to be anything to anybody, anytime, because we don't want to miss out on any business. But once you get going and you have a couple come to Jesus moments where you make some leaps in your understanding of how the business works, it's true. The riches are in the niches. And I think that all 3 of us have distilled ourselves down to where we have at least a portion of our business is like, it's a core. Mm-hmm. Yours is Williamsburg. That's one of the like big cogwheels in your business, right? And Adam's big cogwheel is luxury. Helping
Iowa City. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Definitely.
Luxury in Iowa City. My big cogwheel is helping relocation buyers who are moving to the Iowa City area from afar.
So out of towners. Okay. Mm-hmm. Good.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing, right? Like you're either one or the other. You're either the master of one or the master of none, right? So if you're looking to start out with something, the best way to differentiate is go to something that you're really well versed in, such as you live in Williamsburg, you breathe Williamsburg, you know Williamsburg. So Williamsburg is where you started. And then you expanded from there, but you became the master of this one niche area before you expanded to other markets. And I think that smaller focus is important because one, there's less competitors. You're going to know your customers. You're going to know your product, and you're going to be able to stand out. And once you became the expert there, you were able to expand very easily. But you have to start with the niche.
Yeah, I would agree completely.
So, Adam, how did you get into your niche?
Yeah.
How did you become
Teach me.
master of luxury?
That's a good question. I guess I haven't thought about it to analyze it. I mean, I think, look, if you want to break into luxury, you're not going to do it unless you are also going to social clubs and events and relate to people that are also in the same market as you. And you have to do that. So, maybe you're going to a private country club that other people are going to. But you have to sell, live, and know the products there. I have to know, why would somebody spend $20,000 on a refrigerator? Why would they? Someone might think that's funny, but the type of clients that I work with, there is value in that. And there's a reason they like that refrigerator. I know all the brands that, and I know them from head to toe. And you have to know that because you have to understand your market, you have to understand your competition, and you have to relate to the people that are your clients in that market. And I think that's very important. I think a lot of people just think that they're just gonna jump into a luxury market, and it's hard to do. But it's the same way that I don't go to Williamsburg and really act like I know what I'm doing there because I don't know where the coffee shop is. I don't know where, why would somebody. For me, I just don't understand the type of client that would live in Williamsburg to know where they would want to be in relation to the coffee shop, to the schools, to the grocery store. And all that. Yeah. And so I think the same thing goes then for luxury, right? Like I have to know what my client's needs and wants are and then cater that. The same probably for you in a relo. Tell me about people relocating to the area.
So people reach out to me through my YouTube videos all about Iowa City. And when I first started those videos, I did not realize that was going to be the bulk of the clientele that came to me through it. But just over the course of time, repeated action, I've become very comfortable with it. Now I sometimes create videos that are specifically targeting those people. Like I published one today that is all about the best towns surrounding Iowa City because it's a conversation that I've had over and over. People say, oh, I'm thinking about living in Iowa City, but I don't think I want to live there. Where else should I look at? Well, anybody who lives here, anybody who lives here is going to rattle off the usual suspects. Well, there's Coralville, there's North Liberty, there's Tiffin, there's Solon, there's West Branch, and you just keep ratcheting outward. So this video was just specifically about our core 5. Of course, there's more. And I did mention in the video, there's more, but I don't have time in this video.
Yeah.
So the video may seem like a no-brainer to people who are already here, but it is exactly what a relocation client wants to know about.
Right.
And I guess that's how I became this relocation expert.
The number one in that market.
I like that.
Yeah.
So how about you? Where do your leads come from for Williamsburg?
Honestly, like I would say 90% is like word of mouth. And each client I take on, like I'm going above and beyond, doing my absolute best I can, hoping that like I'll get that review. And like I was always taught at the very beginning of real estate, like you've got to market like crazy for the first 5 years. And then after that, it will come type of thing because people will be talking about, and that could not be more true. But also like maybe some people have the perception like, your mom was in real estate for 30 years. So you kind of like had that business, which I did have a book of business as well. But I didn't like just, hey, hang on to that. And just, I had to go beyond that, start billboards and, like take the marketing to the next level to be able to add both my sisters on, like that was never really the intention. But basically like from 16 on, I was dead set that I had to do real estate. Like it wasn't something that, I did not want to do the whole college run. And it was like, so
you didn't back into it accidentally the way so many other people do end up in real estate.
Yes. And I do think like that perception maybe is like, oh, you just did it to do it type of thing. But it's like I've always kind of had my mind set on it. And our roots run deep in Williamsburg. My dad's a builder. My brother and brother-in-law are builders. And my grandfather was a builder in Williamsburg. So it's not like it is something that I feel like just drawn to overall.
And now you've got your little children.
Yes, and my kids
creating.
will sell real estate. That is not an option. Kidding.
Well, it's a family business.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like you're the Williamsburg Mafia.
Hey,
Just kidding.
I will say, like, I now want to say, like, we're more like Iowa County because we, like, have expanded. I mean, we sell a ton in Marengo as well. And we have a lot of business there. Like, it's not like it's just Williamsburg, but, like, Iowa County, I feel comfortable in any neighborhood in Marengo. Like, I could tell you a lot about that, too, you know?
Yeah.
It's more like when I get to like Iowa City, for example, like I forget that you have to pay to park and like, you know, that I got to allow myself an extra 10 minutes for like, you know, it's just
finding
different.
A parking spot.
Yeah. Like there's no Grubhub. There's no, like there's one option for everything. Like there's not multiple. So it's a treat when I'm.
So let's talk a little bit about how agents decide what that niche is going to be, because that is a hard decision. I remember talking to someone who was somewhat of a mentor to me, and she told me, you need to choose a niche. And I didn't want to. I didn't want to limit myself. I felt like I was going to be leaving business on the table if I chose something and focused a lot of energy on it. Do you guys have any tips on how people could choose what their specialty is going to be?
Well, I think you need to start with doing an individual SWOT analysis of yourself. Like, where do you live? What do you like? What do you do? Therefore, what do people do business with people they like. So what will other people then relate to you for? And start with that and see if that doesn't narrow down and figure out what that is. I mean, if you live in a condo, you're probably someone that's drawn to condos for these reasons. And you probably like the condo because you like having the association amenities, and maybe you live in a condo that's downtown because you like being near restaurants and all the activities, the theater and all these things. And so you might naturally be more prone to being in a condo market. If you live out in suburbia, you might be more of a suburban person. I think figuring that out is a first big step in doing like a SWOT and business analysis of where you kind of stand personally, and then mapping out where you want to go. I mean, for her, you know, you said you started in Williamsburg, but then you mapped out, hey, I'm kind of doing more in the county. And so I can move up and do some more rural sales as well. And now I'm in Marengo, and now I'm happen to be here and there, you know, and I think you expanded based on just kind of doing a general over the year business plan and kind of setting up goals.
Yeah. And one thing like I really focused on was neighborhoods, and like I sent like gobs of postcards, and like every couple months, a new postcard, but to the same neighborhoods. So I feel like, you know, figuring out which areas you're comfortable with, what you know about them, that type of thing, and going towards, you know, and stay on their radar. You know, like it takes several times for them to see your face to think, okay, yeah, I would give them a try, or like they see you and think real estate. So I feel like, you know, figuring out the area and neighborhood that you're like most attracted to or want to sell in, and just continue to market to them.
So let's talk a little bit about how the Belland team interacts with the community as a whole in Williamsburg. I've noticed on your social media that you guys seem very invested in your community. Do you feel like being social about your financial commitment, your time commitment to the community as a whole really helps solidify your position as Williamsburg's, you know, main agents?
There's always like good and bad with that. Like, again, you want to expand. So like, you don't want to be stuck in like one area, but like, if I'm being honest, like I'm giving back everything to where I'm from, like my hometown, like, and where I'm going to be for the next, I'm going to raise my kids there. They're going to be going to the schools there. So we all devote all of our like time, energy, efforts. And it wasn't necessarily like a, you know, like a marketing thing. It was more just like, hey, my entire family lives here. Like, if I'm going to give back, that's going to be maybe like, you know, the first place that I go towards. Just kind of how I was saying with, if I know somebody in Williamsburg that sells something that I'm looking for, that's going to like be my first go-to, you know?
Interesting. So Adam, do you have anybody that you look up to in the luxury realm, or do you have somebody that you're aspiring towards? Like, when you get up there at the pinnacle, who do you look at as something that you're chasing after?
I'm on the top. There's no one above me. No, I'm kidding. So, I think what we need to do is you always got to keep track of your competitors. I think I do own my market pretty well. And so I think most people are looking at me for comparison for that luxury high end. I do look at a couple of my competitors. We stay in touch, and, we're always sharing information because we're going to have, we need to help you. We need to all work together, right? Like, so, they might have a buyer, I might have a seller, vice versa. And so we all need to stay communicating to make sure that we can help each other out. But I think my tip would be this. I think you can look outside your own market. Like there's a Williamsburg all across the country, right? There is a luxury market all across the country. Everyone is going to be relocating into a market from across the country. So look at leaders in other markets. And here's my tip. I keep always 5 people in my inner circle. And they're not locals. They're all from all over the country. These are 5 people that I follow, that I try to learn from, and how they do it in their market, how they're a leader in their market. And many of them make me look like a small fish. They're big. They own their market. They do it really well. And so I really want to kind of see how they do this, learn from them, imitate from them, expand my own knowledge and resources. And I think that's the best tip that I can give you on how to kind of, who you look up to. And so that's, for me, it's external. But I think there are, sometimes there's one from the local market that I kind of keep, and watch. And, even if they're your main competitor, what's the old saying? Better to keep your enemies close, Yeah. And so, you always want to, and I don't treat fellow colleagues, agents, our colleagues. They're not really, we all work together, right? Like the client that I do onesie twosie deals with, I might do 3 dozen with you in my lifetime, And so keeping those relationships and doors open, I think is very important.
And I will say, like, that's probably most impressive when I think of you as, like, you're constantly educating yourself. And, like, I am, but I don't feel like I'm on to, like, your level. I feel like you have so much knowledge, but you're constantly watching other people. And I do the same thing. Like, I'm watching a Nashville agent, and I'm watching but I feel like you really, like, put it to action. And, like...
Well, you're stroking my ego.
Be careful, Lexi. Be careful.
That was not the intention.
No, but I think that's good, right? Like you're learning from me, you learn from others, I learn from others, I learn from you. We all learn from each other. And I think it's important that we do look to others and we ask others for help and questions when we need it. Because, if I'm going to go to Williamsburg, I might probably just refer someone because it's not what I know. But if I do, then I know that I can call you and get some tips. And I hope if somebody's has a listing in a luxury market or has a buyer in a luxury market, they might call me and ask me some tips or look for some help.
Yeah. That's a good point. Ask when you're trying to learn in an area that you're not 100% confident in.
Absolutely.
Training wheels first, right?
Yes.
All right. Well, I think that's a wrap for this episode of Hear This. Thanks so much for dropping in with us, Lexi. We appreciate it.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah. And we'll catch you later.
Thanks.